Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick. Well, Labor Day in the United States honors and recognizes the American labor movement and the works and contributions of laborers to the development and achievements of the U.S. The Indiana State AFL-CIO represents more than 400 local unions across the state, representing nearly 300,000 Hoosiers. With more on what issues are facing organized labor and what the future could hold, we turn to Indiana AFL-CIO President Brett Voorhies. And Brett, welcome to the program as always.
Thank you, Gary. I greatly appreciate you having me on, and it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. Labor Day, a great time to kind of take a break, relax, and think about labor in Indiana, in the U.S. As you look at the state of labor in Indiana, how would you assess it?
I'd say organized labor is on the rise. I think we've done really well here in Indiana. We've, as a matter of fact, in 64, right now, labor unions are at a high of 64% approval rating, which is the highest in 50 years now. Indiana, the same way. We've, due to the pandemic, we've been getting our phone calls left and right, people wanting to join a union and have some type of protection on the job and have more of a voice on the job, because we're certainly going through some different times, and people need voice, on the work, especially our essential workers.
Yeah, and as you look on the positive side, I know we were talking off camera, a lot of building, construction going on around the state of Indiana. The building trades continue to see a lot of work statewide.
They do, and all the way from Northwest Indiana down to Madison, into Evansville. I mean, it's been booming. Our trades have been very busy. We've been very fortunate for the last well over a year now, even during the pandemic. As a matter of fact, it's has gotten to the point to where some of the trades can't get enough apprentices to come in and work. So it keeps the job training going, keeps the apprenticeships full, and keeps the education going. So hopefully it stays that way going through the pandemic and then years to come.
Yeah, you mentioned the approval rating being up for unions in Indiana. At the same time, union membership has certainly been a challenge in Indiana. Reached its peak in 1989. I think it's low last year in 2009. How are you addressing, or how do you need to address the union membership issue in the state?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it has been due to layoffs, whether it be UAW, GM plants, or other manufacturing around the state. Unfortunately, in the past few years, we've lost some facilities like Carrier and Rexnord Link Belt, which is the plant that I came out of, and unfortunately, due to no fault of their own, jobs moving overseas, and just moving manufacturing out of our state.
Yeah. Impact of right to work that got a lot of attention a few years ago. Now that we're a few years beyond the passage of the right to work law, has that had an impact on labor?
It really hasn't, Gary. And we've, as a matter of fact, the year after right to work got through, we had the highest organizing membership numbers in history of the Indiana AFL-CIO. Our numbers have stayed fairly stagnant through that whole process, and I feel like lost my train of thought there. I apologize. But we are starting to thrive. People are wanting to join a union now. We are starting to grow even more so.
Yeah, how about trade policy? The new NAFTA, if you will, a trade agreement between the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. A lot of people in organized labor seem to like that, as we hear nationally. Your take on the new NAFTA and how that might impact Indiana?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the president has us heading in the right direction. NAFTA was certainly a job killer for most, all the way up until today. And although the new NAFTA still has a long way to go, there's still a lot of things to be worked out, but it's certainly headed in the right direction on bringing more manufacturing here and preventing it from going overseas.
Yeah, I only have about 30 seconds left, Brett, but want to get your take. Technology, automation, artificial intelligence, all those things stand to reduce potentially the number of people on the job. How does the AFL-CIO and others in organized labor address this issue of artificial intelligence and technology?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have to make sure that we are doing everything we can, working with our government, working with our employers on job training, on the new innovation and motivation that's coming through. We have to make sure that our companies are rewarding their employees. If you got to work a shorter work week, then so be it. But you could still pay that employee. One thing we have to do is make sure that money is going in the pocket to workers to make sure we keep our economy rolling.
All right, Brett Voorhies is the president of the AFL-CIO here in Indiana. Brett, really appreciate the time and some really good perspective on Indiana labor. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Gary. I really appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
You too.